In my previous video, I've installed all the hardware to make my ATV shift using air. But as of right now, you still have to trigger it manually to either make it upshift or downshift, which kind of defeats the purpose of this contraption. So in this video, I'll put together some electronics as well as programming it using Chat-GPT, so it will hopefully be able to shift on its own. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. All electronics and equipment used in this video will be linked in the description, and let's get started! I'll start with a nice coat of paint to protect the bare steel from rust. And just like that, it looks way better. If you remember from the previous video, to make this ATV upshift, you have to trigger the upper solenoid valve, and to make it downshift, you have to trigger the bottom one. Now there is in fact another way to use it. These solenoid valves come with two wires sticking out of them, which when we hook up 12 volts, we are able to trigger it electrically. Knowing that, if we wire it up with a MOSFET board as a switch, and then feed that with an Arduino microcontroller, we should be able to precisely control the shifting action. To read the RPM, we can simply mount a microphone next to the muffler, which will pick up the tone of the engine, and based on that, know when to shift. But then I realized, this ATV already comes with an RPM sensor. The stator. This thing is basically the generator for all the electronics on the ATV. But if we hook up an oscilloscope between the black and one of the three white phase wires, it spits out an 18-volt pulsed DC voltage. And as we rev up the engine, we can see how the frequency rises. If we hook up this signal to the Arduino, we will now know how fast the engine is spinning. Here you can see, if I wire up the Arduino to the 1 kHz square wave generator from my oscilloscope, you can see how after writing a bit of code and hooking it up to my laptop, the Arduino is now confirming that it sees a 1 kHz signal. But as we just witnessed, the signal coming from the stator is around 18 volts. And if we hook all this up to the ATV, we can clearly see that the Arduino doesn't like more than 5 volts at its digital input. So the solution is to add two small resistors, which will divide the voltage to a safe value. With a new Arduino installed, let's run this test again and see what happens. No smoke so far, and if we get a little closer, we can see how the more throttle I give it, the higher this number becomes. Perfect! Next, we are going to install a water-resistant enclosure. This is because I might forget the ATV in the rain, and we don't want any electronics to get wet. I'll install some cable glands, which will create a watertight seal between the wires and the enclosure. I'll be adding some shrink tubing over the wires to prevent them from flying all over the place. Using 18-gauge solid wire should be good enough for carrying power for this project. When connecting electronics to an ATV battery, it's always a good idea to install a low current fuse, since these batteries can supply a few hundred amps if there is a short in the system. I won't connect the positive wire to the battery until the electronics are installed, to be on the safe side. I'll run another wire to carry the signal from the stator. And finally, I'll tidy up all the wires so they don't get in the way. For basic controls like a separate power on-off switch, we are going to use one of these switches used on ATVs or dirt bikes. I'll install it right next to the other switch assembly to have all the controls on one side. I'll route in all the wires and then start installing the components. Once everything is wired up, we can close the circuit by hooking up the positive wire, as well as turning on the switch. After hooking up my laptop, we can see that it works. So, it's time to jack up the back wheels from the ATV, so it should be easier to program. After starting the engine and giving it some throttle, I realized that the ATV is always locked in 4-wheel drive, so that meant I had to lift the front end as well. And just like that, after starting the engine, all the wheels spin up just fine. But how will we get the Arduino to shift up at the right time? Well, after playing around with the shifter for a bit, I came up with an idea. To shift smoothly, you have to let go of the throttle. The reason for this is to reduce the torque while shifting, which makes it easier and also prevents damage. So the next step was explaining to Chat-GPT what I want the Arduino to do.
Add a variable which will show how fast the change of the frequency happens and print it to the serial monitor.
And just like that, we have a variable called change, which as soon as we hit the throttle, this number increases. But unlike frequency, this number settles close to 0 as soon as there is no acceleration. Then when we let go of the throttle, we get a negative value. And as soon as it comes to idle, the change once again equals to 0.
Okay, nice.
So the next obvious step is to tell it exactly what to do to make the ATV shift up based on the RPM of the engine, as well as the negative torque.
If RPM is more than 400 and the torque reaches a negative value for 100 milliseconds or more, shift up. Wait 100 milliseconds and turn off shift up.
Chat-GPT also gave me a lot of different variables to play around with to fine-tune each aspect. It did take me some time to get everything mostly perfect, but this is the result. Now this might not be as responsive as you have expected, but when I tried to make it more responsive by playing around with a few different variables in the code, it ended up either double shifting or just not shifting at all. When putting the ATV in reverse, this thing will still try shifting up, even though it is not able to be in anything higher than first gear. So for that, I thought it might be a good idea to wire up the reverse slide on the ATV onto the Arduino to know when it is in reverse, and in that case, not to shift. I added a little voltage divider with a diode to make it safer for the Arduino. And just like that, we're getting a voltage when we shift it into reverse. Now off camera when I did some testing, I had the Arduino fail a couple of times, so since I don't want to waste any more time figuring out where the problem can come from, I just bought some opto isolator boards, which will, as its name suggests, isolate the source signal from the voltage supply. To explain how this works, I'll basically just hook up some wires and hook up 5V USB power to its input and then switch its input signal with a 30V power supply. And as you can see, when I hook up high voltage to the input, the 5V supply gets pulled down to ground, which gives us 0 volts. And as soon as I disconnected, we get 5V once again. Now that it's a little bit more clear how this thing works, we can install a couple of these for all the signal wires. As of right now, the input and output grounds are isolated, but since I want to keep it simple, and the Arduino's power supply is not isolated at all, I'm just gonna link the input and output grounds from the opto isolators, which should be just fine. As soon as we power up the ATV, the reverse LED from the opto isolator lights up because the signal is inverted. If we start the engine, we can see the second opto isolator board start flickering, but then appears to settle into a constant brightness since it is flickering at over 100 times per second at idle. Shifting into first gear turns on another opto isolator since we just went out of neutral. Pushing the lever into reverse causes the reverse opto isolator to turn off. As a final step of protection, I'll add a flyback diode to each MOSFET board since I noticed that it didn't come with one. I still want to change a few things in the code. What is this? My laptop doesn't read my Arduino? Well, it turns out that not only the Arduino got damaged, but my laptop ports got damaged as well. So I was forced to go to my older laptop and use that one for programming. And guess what? When measuring the signal coming from the Apto isolator going to the Arduino, I'm getting a peak-to-peak voltage of 8 volts at max, which kind of explains why the Arduino stopped working. Who would have known? To fix that, I simply added a Zener diode with a resistor in series to clamp any voltages above a dangerous amount for the Arduino. I also added a ceramic capacitor to smooth out any voltage spikes that are created. And just like that, we are getting a smooth pulse DC voltage with a maximum peak-to-peak of 2.3 volts, which is good enough for the Arduino since the minimum is at around 1 volt. I also bought myself a USB isolator which can isolate over 1000 volts from its output to input. So if anything gets damaged, it'll be the $5 Arduino instead of a $500 laptop. I'll have to jack up the ATV again because I just transferred it to a heated garage instead of out in the open because winter is coming and I'm not looking forward to catching a cold. If we put the ATV in reverse, we can see how it's not trying to shift. Perfect. And as soon as we put it into drive, it will start shifting once again. It seems to be shifting reliably, so I'll space out all electronics and then take it for a test drive. As we're heading out, I do have to mention that I did figure out how this thing can shift without letting go of the throttle. I added to the code that it should detect when the torque reaches very close to 0 and should shift up on its own. And it actually worked. Now sometimes it would try to shift more than once until it would end up getting into the next gear. But that's what I get for having this thing force the gears to shift up under load. Maybe a larger cylinder would have helped, but at that point I might end up bending the shifter or even damaging the transmission. Before we wrap up this video, let's have a moment of silence for the brave Arduino Nanos that have fallen for this project. If you like this video, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, and consider supporting me through Patreon to help me create more and better videos. And I will see you guys in the next video.